Welcome to Second Sake, the show that focuses on the issues behind the news. Mining Weekly editor Martin Creamer joins me today to unpack the latest in the mining industry. Welcome, Martin.
Hi, Sashni.
Now, the South African Diamond Producers Association has ideas to save a fast-shrinking industry.
You know, more than 100 years ago, we found these alluvial diamonds. And we've still got another 100 years where we could continue to find them. That's what the experts say. But the industry is shrinking. You'll see it shrunk 90% from 2004 to 2019. You know, they used to employ about 25,000 people, now 5,000 people. And just at a time when we're needing this employment desperately, particularly in the rural areas, it's not happening. And so it's all about our legislation created for big operations. And so you've got this one size fits all. And of course that big size just doesn't fit these guys because it's too costly. So they have developed a very interesting position paper. They're presenting it very well. They've had advisors come in and help them, and they're going to present it now to the Minister of Mineral Resources and Energy, Mr. Gwedi Mantashe. So they're just looking for a date now to get that, to present 4 big recommendations to them, and the one is to make it much cheaper for these people to get in, to have a sort of a tick box arrangement where they can get all the licensing they need, you know, mining licensing and water use licensing, with a sort of a tick box approach that's very officially done. And also bringing in the zamazamas, getting them involved. And there is an operation happening on the lower Orange River at the moment where they say this could be the model to follow, because you've got illegal miners who are now legal miners. They're working within a big company's got a framework, and then they work within that framework. And some of them are being paid like every 48 hours. So, you know, they're getting their money. It's also very transparent. They can see exactly where their diamonds are in the situation and how much they're getting for them. And it seems to have been a turnaround situation. So maybe they can do this on a bigger scale. But they need to get to the minister. They say, look, we haven't got all the answers, but we need some answers because there's this opportunity, a great opportunity, but we're losing out on it. And we've got these 4 recommendations. We think they're good. So maybe you can have something specifically for diamonds, which we used to have in the past.
Tell us about Vision Blue's high return prospects for investors.
You know, we had Mick Davis. When I first interviewed him here, he was with Eskom. So I went into that office and he was in charge of financing. We had this interview, and of course I've interviewed him many times since then. But from Mick Davis, he became Sir Mick Davis. So he's done very well in the mining sector and in the whole new environment that he is in the UK. And he had that Extrata, which went into Glencore. And since then, you know, he's at X2 and he's been looking for opportunities. But he came flying out of his starting blocks now with Vision Blue. And the vision is to just make sure that you can supply this huge demand that's building up as the world moves away from fossil fuels and it moves into all sorts of new forms of storing electricity and all sorts of new forms of driving vehicles with electricity. And his calculations are that the supply is not going to meet the demand here. And not only can you encourage these investors to come in because they're going to get a good return, but you can also encourage them to come in because they're doing the right thing for Mother Earth. And you've got those 2 big compelling situations for investors. So, you know, he sort of clicked his fingers and he needed $50 million. He got $66 million, so it was quickly oversubscribed, but he needs all that cash because he's made one big investment. So he'll be an investment company with a portfolio of investments in different mines. And the one that he's gone into is a flake graphite mine in Madagascar, which is his first investment. And going into graphite is an important one, because this graphite is part of the cathode in your electric vehicle. But electric battery vehicles are the big demand at the moment, and it's flying through the next 5 years, 10 years. It's sort of helter-skelter into that. But as you move into more of the hydrogen fuel cell and go into the hydrogen economy in a bigger way down the line, we're already in that, but in a much bigger way, graphite also plays a massive role in the fuel cell. So he's preparing himself well in an area where he feels it's very undersupplied. And he's also looking around now, and he's got so many opportunities. It seems that he will be making quite a few investments in the short term and raising quite a lot more money in the short term for this vision blue that he's developed. And he says the vision is to move the world away from fossil fuels. And it's not like it was with China in the past. Each country has got consensus now to do this. So it's a massive big rollout that's coming. And the blue is about being benign and making sure that you do the right thing when it comes to emissions into the atmosphere.
And unpack for us how green hydrogen and power fuels could revive PetroSA and create a €160 billion export platform.
That 160 billion euro, I mean, now we're talking about trillions of rands here. I mean, this is mouth-watering stuff. And you wonder why we're not doing it, because it seems like a no-brainer. I mean, here you've got the investment in PetroSA. The state owns PetroSA. PetroSA can't find any more gas around in the Southern Cape, in the Mossel Bay area anymore. So it's ailing. But the infrastructure is paid for. It's at the coast. And now, you can have a situation where power fuels are needed. These are things that Sasol could produce, using the sun and renewable energy. And instead of, getting the hydrogen from the coal, they get it out of this new energy setup. You end up with power fuels, which are carbon neutral. Now, the biggest polluter in the world is our aircraft going across there. So you take these power fuels and you give them to the aviation industry, which is desperate. They'll take them very, very fast. And you're right at the coast, so you can export there quite easily. Then you swing around and you look at Saldanha Steel. Saldanha Steel's in mothballs. So we've had this massive investment, initially made by ISCOR, the state, and then coming into private sector through ArcelorMittal. But it's lying there, doing nothing. It's right at the coast. Why? Because we're uncompetitive in the export of steel as things stand. Now with this incredible change, you don't need the coking coal anymore, which we don't have a huge supply of. But you can use green hydrogen. You can use green hydrogen. What is green hydrogen? You go into our Northern Cape, you use the sun, and our iron ore mines are in the Northern Cape. You take that renewable energy and you get it to the coast. Saldanha Steel's at the coast. You put it through seawater. You get not only green hydrogen from that, but you actually purify the water. So a lot of these places need good water. We're talking about getting water from the sea. This is a cheap way of getting water from the sea. So you get your water and you get your green hydrogen. Then you use your green hydrogen to take that iron ore that you've got in the Northern Cape and turn it into steel. Now, we always talk about beneficiation, don't we? This is beneficiation. And as the Australians are saying now, we've got so much iron ore, but we've also got a lot of sun. And you can see them already saying, hey, we want to use this green hydrogen that we want to develop. Now, we have already got the structure. We've got the railway line going down there. We've got the Sishen Saldanha, railway line going down there. We can put the iron ore into a situation where instead of getting the iron ore price, you now get a steel price. And it's a steal because the world is crying out for green steel. If you're going to say, I'm giving you steel that's made, but it's damaged Mother Earth, and they're going to say, we don't want that, but we want yours. And there the ships can be waiting, and off we go. We've got this export market. So this is absolutely brilliant. And it's the brains of Europe and the brains of South Africa working together. CSR, people who have been in this a long time, they can see it. It's as clear as day. But it still seems to be as clear as mud to some people. I don't know why they're stopping. We're talking about needing exports. Wow. This is colossal. When we look at the South African GDP, this is like half of the GDP. What are you waiting for? I don't know.
Let's see. Thanks for speaking with us, Martin.
It's a great pleasure, Sashni.
That's it for today. Join us again next week for more news analysis on the local and global mining industries. And don't forget to listen to the audio version of our Mining Weekly daily email newsletter.